The Science of Getting Rich.
Hello, welcome to another chapter of our course. In this chapter, the author will explain how wealth comes to you. In the author's preface, he states that this book is pragmatic, not philosophical. A practical manual, not a theoretical treatise. It is for men and women who first need to make money and philosophize later. So in this chapter, the author will explain in practical terms how you will create your wealth. I believe that if you have been studying this course in an organized way, you might already have a general idea of how this will happen. Perhaps you still have no idea how wealth will come to you, or what the means and mechanisms are by which it will arrive. In the last chapter you read, that the author says you can never engage in cutthroat negotiations, deals where you harm someone, where only you win. But this doesn't mean you won't need to do any kind of negotiating. Wealth will come to you through negotiations. You will have to be in contact with people. The money, the wealth, what you want, will come to you through negotiations, through business. Maybe you think you don't have a gift for entrepreneurship, or you have no interest in starting a business. But starting a business isn't the only way we negotiate. In all situations in life, we are negotiating, whether with our family members, with our boss if we work for a company, or with a person we're interested in. We are always negotiating, so negotiating is a natural thing. But here in this chapter, to make money, you will need to do business. You will have to do business with other people. Even if you are an employee, you will have to negotiate with your employers. However, you must do business with others based on the science of getting rich. Based on this way of thinking, you must understand that you are working so that everyone can have more. When you enter into a negotiation with someone, even if it's at the company you work for, you must exclude the thought that for you to have more, the other person has to lose something. Wealth will come to you through negotiations. But how should these negotiations happen? What should your mindset be in these negotiations? You must always think in the following way. You must always give to people or companies more in use value than the monetary value they pay you for it. Of course, there are some caveats for those who work in a company, as it is much easier to do these negotiations when you have your own business. But these are principles that can be applied to all situations. As an example, we will use this course again so you can better understand. The value added by this course must be much greater in utility for you than its monetary value was. This course must help you make a lot of money. It must produce a radical change in you, one that makes you feel you paid very little for it compared to what it delivered. You should feel that the course gave you much more in use value than its value in money. And so must be your negotiations. You have to understand that the person negotiating with you has to feel that they are the one winning. The person will always reflect on whether they are the one gaining, or if at least what they are paying you is fair in relation to what they are receiving. This perception the person has when negotiating with you is very important. This is the secret to always making money in negotiations. The person negotiating with you must believe that they are the one winning. They must always receive much more in use value than in monetary value. Another thing you have to get out of your mind is the fantasy. In the movie The Secret, there was a lot of fantasy about how things are formed through the power of thought. It's not just because you believe there is a formless substance that copies your thoughts and gives rise to what you want that things will materialize in your life without your interaction, without the need for you to negotiate, without the need for things to be produced by someone's hands. In the book, the author uses the example of the sewing machine. It's not the fact that you want to have a sewing machine that will cause the machine to materialize in your living room. That's not it. It is not simply the desire to have a sewing machine that will cause the entire universe to move so that this machine arrives in your hands. That's not how things work. Once again, it's not like in the movie The Secret. You must get this fantastical idea out of your mind. The desire you feel inside to have wealth, this will to be rich, must be aligned with the desire to act towards your wealth. And furthermore, when you imagine all the things you want in life, you must have clarity about what you really want, before you impress this thought upon the formless substance. Because in our universe, there is no such thing as something for nothing. You will always have to give something in exchange for what you want. And most of the time, that will be money. You will have to have the money to exchange for what you want. But now, how do you get this money? Will this money materialize in your bank account simply because you took the course, The Science of Getting Rich, simply because you know your mind creates your reality? No, that's not true. It will not happen that way. You can spend your whole life imagining this money, but it will never arrive in your account. What you must do is this. What you must understand is that your creative thought will create ways for you to negotiate with other people, create ways to exchange what you know, what you do, your service, your knowledge for money. You must look for ways in which you can deliver your knowledge in a way that it becomes worth a lot of money. Then you will effectively have the money. You will start making deals with many people, but always keep in mind that in every negotiation, you must deliver more in value and utility than the value you received. Another thing the author talks about in this chapter is this desire we have to always want more. So at this moment, don't let yourself be imprisoned. Don't let yourself be limited. Don't let your imagination be limited. The fact that you are learning that you will have to negotiate may cause some limitations. Don't worry about that. The important thing is for you to learn how the whole process works. The method of negotiation, the way you will have to negotiate, and the way you will create to negotiate. You can always do this in a pleasant way. The author mentions in the book that you will usually start to get rich, or at least start your negotiations, in the environment you are already familiar with. You can start putting these ideas into practice in your own workplace or business. These concepts were written many years ago, but they are concepts that are still valid today. Don't let your imagination be limited at this moment. Don't let these limitations take over your heart, because that generates fear and ends up limiting everything you want. You are capable of having anything and everything you want to have in this life. And the principle is this. You just need to understand that for you to have more people must have more. This is one of the things the author explains as the voice of God, that voice of the supreme force that is inside of you, that wants to have everything it is capable of having, that wants to live everything it is capable of living. Another thing you have to understand is that for you to express all this desire, to express all this eagerness to have more, to be more, you must understand that you will also have to provide these same things to other people. You will have to help them realize their own desire to grow. You will offer these people a means for them to get what they want. Thus, you will also get everything that you want. In this chapter, the author also commented on the importance of visualizing. This is where visualization begins. This chapter is where the story of the law of attraction began, the idea where you imagine what you want. So this is the moment you understand that you need clarity. It's the moment you need to know exactly what you want. So I suggest you write it down in a notebook or in a notepad on your computer. It can be anywhere, as long as you have easy daily access to it. Write on this paper the exact amount you would like to have in your account. It's important that we stop talking about wealth only in a figurative sense. From now on, it's important to talk in numbers. When you talk about wealth, it's important that you have in mind what your value is, and also when you will be earning this value. How much, and when will you have this amount in the bank? Another important thing to write on this sheet of paper is what your life will be like when you are very rich. Just as the author Wallace explains in the book about that boy who imagined the carpet, who imagined the furniture, who imagined everything he wanted inside the house. At this moment, you should imagine what your life would be like. What will be your car? What will be your house? What will your life be like when you are rich? It's important to write all of this down to have clarity about everything you want. Remember that what is in your mind is being created by the formless substance. Then, you will read this sheet every day in the morning and at night before going to bed. You will read it. You will look at this sheet, because you are impressing upon your mind. You are impregnating your mind with the image of what you want. And these things will be created by the formless substance in your life. However, for these things to come to you, you must have the money to acquire them. You must have the money to buy them. And how will the money come to you? It will come through the negotiations you will make. So, don't forget. Watch this video several times because repetition makes the ideas become natural to you. It's important that you understand all the principles contained in this chapter. And the first thing you need to understand is that you will need to help other people have a lot too. You won't necessarily have to help other people have a lot of money, but you will have to deliver something that adds a lot of value to their lives. And one thing you need to keep in mind is that the money will not materialize in your bank account just because you imagined it. This will not happen. The money will come to you through negotiations. However, the negotiations can be negotiations that you will choose. It will be something you like or have an easy time doing. These are the things you have to have in your mind right now. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the next chapter.